Namaskaram. With the divine blessings of our entire Acharya Guru Parampara and the Divya Dampati's blessings, we are now fortunate to have reached the 20th Pasuram of Pillaiandadi. This is the Phala Shruti. This gives us the fruit of having recited Swami Desikan's Pillaiandadi. And well, the fruit by itself is absolute bliss for us to have recited Pillaiandadi. And it's very, very divine, and it's very close to our heart. And it is very sweet to our tongue when we sing Pillaiandadi. But beyond that, Kumara Varadhacharya has given us a bigger benefit of chanting Pillaiandadi, which we will see in today's Pasuram. Let's look at the Pasuram. வடிவழகார்ந்தவன் தூப்புல் வள்ளல் மென்மலர் அடிமேல் அடியவர் ஓத அந்தாதி இருபதம் மாய்ந்துரைத்தேன் திடமுடன் இதை தினந்தோறும் ஆதரித்து ஓதும் அன்பர் முடியிடை நேர்படும் தூப்புல் அம்மான் பதமாமலரே. So he says, முடியிடை நேர்படும் Tupul Amman Padamamalare. So those who chant this hymn will be seen with Swami's feet on their head. So we will adorn Swami Desikan's feet on our head, on each of our head like an ornament, right? So let's look at the word by word meaning. Vadi Varaharnda, with form full of beauty. In the previous Pasuram, we learned how to meditate on the Divya Tirumeni of Divya Mangala Vigraha of Swami Desikan, how we could meditate on his beautiful eyes, on the one tupul, the Vigraha that we very beautifully saw. Even as part of the video, we were able to picturize it with the PPT image. So with full form of that beauty, Vadivarahan, the one Tupul Vallal, the handsome and the magnanimous one who incarnated in Tupul, Men Malar Adi Male, about his soft flower-like pair of feet, Adiyavar Oda, so that devotees may recite Andadi Irubadam, this Andadi style of Pasurams, this hymn with 20 stanzas set in the Andadi style of poetry. We have already seen at the beginning what is an Andadi style. It is a poetic style where the end of one Pasuram, the last word of one Pasuram becomes the starting word of the next Pasuram. So he has composed this entire Pillaiandadi, 20 stanzas in the Andadi style. With choicest words, enshrining the essence of our scriptures, Kumara Varadhacharya has composed this. He says, Aindu Uraithen. It's in first person. I have recited these Pasurams with the choicest of the words which enshrine the essence of the scriptures. Didamudan idai dinandorum Adarittu odum anbar, for those devotees who chant this daily with deep faith, devotion, love, and respect for Swami Desikan, what will happen? Mudidai nerpadum, on top of their heads will always reside Tupul Amman Padamamalare, the lotus feet of the master of Tupul, that is Swami Desikan. His feet will be enshrined on each of our head permanently. Now let's look at what does this mean, right? So we all know the incident of Kali and Artana from Bhagavatam. So when Krishna was about 7 to 11 years old, this Kaliya, which was a snake with more than 1,000 heads, had completely poisoned the Yamuna River, or a tributary of the Yamuna River, and the children and the Vrajvasis were abstained from going to that particular water body. And one particular day when the kids were playing, it was all Krishna's plan to take the kids around the banks of that particular water body. And when they were playing, there was a ball that went into the water. And despite everybody stopping Krishna from entering into the water, he entered it. He climbed up a particular Kadamba Mara over there, and he dived into that particular pond. So on diving into that, we all know that he had a wonderful dance on the thousand-headed snake over there. Every hood would rise up one after the other, and he would beautifully dance on a stage. For dancers, the stage is very important. If the stage is constant, if it is flat, then the dancer can bring out their footwork beautifully. But here is a wonderful dancer who does not have a stage that is flat but has a slippery stage, but also the hood kept raising one after the other. So obviously Kalia had a lot of ahankara, and that is why every time Krishna placed his one foot on one hood of Kalia, another hood would rise up, and then Krishna would stamp his feet on the other. By doing so, what eventually happened is ego and the ahankara of Kalia was completely defeated. But most importantly, Krishna's feet was enshrined on Kalia's each of his hood that he had. So in Bhagavatam, it is said that Kalia was really afraid of leaving that water body and going elsewhere, because Garuda had his eyes on Kalia from a very, very long time. There is another story that goes, which we don't have time for looking into that story. But Garudarvar was behind Kalia, and Kalia had come here to take refuge of a particular Muni who was meditating over here. And Garuda was abstained from coming into this particular water body in Vrindavan. And that is why he was able to live here peacefully. But over the years, he had poisoned the lake, and he had also poisoned himself with so much ego. And this ego was defeated by Krishna through his divine Kaliya Nartana. Now, when Krishna completed the dance, and both Kaliya's wives and Kaliya did a Sharanagati at Krishna's feet, Krishna told him, now you will not trouble this inhabitants of Vrajvasis anymore, and you will have to find another place, go to a faraway land. At that time, Kalia says, but I'm really scared of Garuda. Garuda, if he finds me, he's going to immediately get into a fight with me, and obviously I will be defeated by Garuda. I can even lose my life. So at that time, Krishna says, don't you worry about it. On each of your head, there is the Tiruvadi of there is the imprint of my Tiruvadi. There is the imprint of my foot on each of your hood. And once Garuda sees that, he will only bow to you and he will not cause any harm to you. So such is the greatness of having the Tiruvadi of either Perumal, or in this case, we are all going to be adorning the Tiruvadi of Swami Desikan himself, right? When we go to a temple, the most important, there are two things that is extremely important for us to get as prasadam in any Vaishnava temple. The first one is Tirtham. The second one is Shathari. Shathari is nothing but the feet of the Lord, which is Nammalvar himself for us. So when we get that Shathari placed on our head, we are we are cleared of our sins. The sins are dispelled the minute the Shathari is placed on our head. So, but we get very few seconds of that being placed on our head, and we continue to commit so many sins in every microsecond level because we don't have an understanding of what is right and what is wrong. So for people like us, Swami Desikan's feet being adorned on our head would mean that Swami Desikan will guide us. And all the Alvars use this term saying, Tirutti Panikollu. Tirutti Panikollu means you correct me and make me a good instrument to yourself. Only you are capable of that. Every Alvar says this in their works to Perumal. Whereas here we leave the responsibility of Tirutti Panikolvadu to Swami Desikan himself, because his feet is being imprinted on our forehead, and just by having his feet on our forehead, he's going to guide us by giving us the right jnana, by telling us how to differentiate between what is good and what is bad, what is hita and what is not hita for us, and thereby guide us in the right direction, give us jnanam, bhakti, vairagya, just like how he is an epitome of jnana, bhakti, vairagya. In his Taniyan, we see Ramanujataya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam. He adorns Jnanam and Vairagyam as ornaments himself. So Swami Desikan will give all of these wonderful qualities little by little to us to the level that we are able to imbibe from him. And such is the benefit that we would get by adorning Swami Desikan's feet on our forehead. And this is permanent. While Shatari is only for a few seconds while we get in the temple, Swami Desikan's feet is going to be adorned on our head forever. In this instance, and I'm also reminded of another story from Ramayanam, where when Bharata comes to Rama, when he comes into the forest and asks Rama to return back to Ayodhya, he goes back with Paduka Devi on his head, placed on his head. Bharata returns with Paduka Devi on his head back to Ayodhya. He stays back. He stays back closer to Ayodhya, and the Paduka Devi is the one who reigns over Ayodhya during those 14 years when Rama is in his exile period. So they very nicely say that during those 14 years, the reign of Ayodhya was the most glorious. There were absolutely no crimes reported during that time. There was no injustice that was committed during that time, because such was the glory of Paduka Devi. When we have Padukai of Rama himself ruling over a particular region, such as Ayodhya, then it is only going to be glorious. It would be the most golden age of the entire era, right? So similarly, if we were to bear the Paduka or the lotus feet of our master, who is Swami Desikan, on our foreheads, it is going to do all the good that we require in this material world. And it will also guide us while we're going to leave this body and go in the Achiradi Margam. And when we reach Vaikuntham, we will continue to hold the feet of Swami Desikan on our forehead. And we will continue our eternal service to our Acharya even in Sri Vaikuntham. So there is no limit to the glories of the feet of Swami Desikan, whose most captivating form, which is the Divya Mangala Vigraham, also is of immeasurable beauty. What to speak of describing them in full? Still, in order that devotees can recite the glories of their Swami daily, Kumara Varadacharya says, I have composed 20 stanzas about him. These also enshrine the very essence of all the scriptures. There are no words to describe the great fortune of those devotees who, with deep faith, devotion, love, and respect for Swami Desikan, chant this hymn daily. The lotus feet of Swami will take residence on each of their head at all times and will never leave that place ever. This is the Phalashruti, and this is the promise that Nainacharya is giving us for every person who recites these 20 stanzas every day. What greater benefit can one aspire for, says Swami Nainacharya himself in this concluding verse. This entire journey of relishing the meaning of Pillaiandadi has been extremely blissful for me, and I would like to thank SRG School of Vedanta. I deeply thank Srimati Usha Narasimhan Mami, who is Adiyan's Guru. She has really brought me from darkness to guiding me in the route of finding knowledge and finding happiness in this entire journey, how to lead a life happily and how to lead a life by just spending your time in the memory of the Lord, in spending your time by developing devotion towards the Acharyas. Adiyan's little bit of love for Swami Desikan is like a speck in comparison to the mountain that Usha Mami loves Desikan's works. Every sentence that she reads in our Kalakshepam comes with so much of deep meanings and insights that she fills us up with. And I've only done a very, very little speck of the ocean of knowledge that Mami has. And I've only attempted to take the translation work that Usha Mami has already done and been a messenger in communicating this through the YouTube videos. This work wouldn't be complete without the wonderful gesture of Soumya Rajagopal, who has been a beacon of light in making sure that these videos are posted in time. She edits these videos, she puts in the right kind of PPT images in the right place, and she's the one who's been behind me to guide me in delivering these videos. So immense gratitude to both Usha Mami and to Soumya, without whom my journey in this transcendental journey, my journey in this transcendental world would be incomplete. So thank you so much to the entire Acharya Guru Parampara, to the Divya Dampati, who are always blessing all of us and are really happy that we are all coming into the right path of moving towards the transcendental. And with this video, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have listened to these videos. Many of you have personally pinged me on WhatsApp and shared your feedback. So thank you so much. We will meet in yet another series where we can enjoy the transcendental yet again. Thank you so much. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Srimate Nigamanta Mahadeshikaya Namaha. Dhanyosmi.